Okay, this is the Unit 4 Quiz 3 review video. I made this in response to the performance on this quiz, and hopefully that you'll find this very beneficial for you, and the mistakes that you made on this you'll never make again. Alright, so the first thing that you have is a whole bunch of formulas that you're going to have to be aware of. First off, arithmetic. Remember, what you're doing is you're adding. Okay. So you are adding. Alright, now with geometric, you are multiplying. Alright, so the first thing you need to figure out is when am I applying the arithmetic, when am I applying the geometric? Well, let's go ahead and start with geometric. Geometric, if you ever see anything about obviously multiplying, that's going to be your dead giveaway. But if the problem has something with percentages, these two are pretty much the buzzwords that you need to look for dealing with geometric sequences. And with arithmetic is basically everything that is not multiplying or percentages. Again, it's adding or subtracting. All right. Now moving on, you have your recursive formula, which again is always going to be this. If you're adding 5, you put plus 5. If you are maybe subtracting 5, you put minus 5. I'm just giving you examples here. So you should know how to do recursive. And then lastly, to find your common difference, to find your R. There you go. So there's a whole bunch of information given to you. So a lot of it should be easy to find these. But let's get started. The culture of bacteria in a petri dish, here we go, triples every hour. So I already know it's going to be geometric. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and solve for everything and then answer the questions. Since I know it's geometric, it's going to be a of n is equal to something, parentheses something, to the n minus 1 power. Now let's keep reading. It triples every hour. That means it times 3. So that means my rate is going to be 3. Now it says by the 5th hour there are 85 microns. So a of 5 equals 81. Well, let's just throw some stuff in here. Let's see. My rate triples, so that's a 3. My a of 5 is 81. So that'll be a 5. This will be an 81. But notice, I don't have my first term. I need my first term. I don't have it. I got to solve for it. All right. So 81 is equal to x parenthesis 3 to the 5 minus 1 power. 81 is equal to x parenthesis times 81. When I divide by 81, x over here is going to equal 1. Now remember that my x is a of 1. So a of 1 equals 1. So now that I have all my information, now let's just answer some questions. So, what is the original amount in the dish? That's A1. Well, we just found it. That was 1. This question has a common rate or difference. Well, because of the fact that it's geometric, it's going to have a constant rate. And what am I multiplying by? Well, let's go back up. Well, there it was. I was multiplying by 3. What is the closed form formula? Well, remember that the closed form formula is something, parentheses, something to the n minus 1 power. This second something is 3. My first term was 1. There you go. And no simplifying needed. Alright, let's keep going. How many hours until 5,331? Alright, this is a guess and check. Alright, this is a guess and check. Alright, so basically what I'm doing is I'm figuring out what can n be in order for it to equal 531,441. Alright, so that means I'm just going to start throwing different numbers in for n until I get that number. And the answer ended up being 13. Alright, let's see. John bought a car that, oh, here we go, depreciates. That means decreases in a value of 21%. Automatically, that's percentage. And that's going to be geometric. So I'm just going to go ahead and just write my formula off to the side. Because that's what I need to know. A of n is equal to that. It says decreases at a rate of 21%, and then here we go, by the 5th year. That is A of 5 is equal to 12,000. And it says you're going down, so let's see, going down, let's see, decreasing by 21% off to the side. I'm always taking from 100, 79%, which would be, R is going to be 0.79. Now again, this is almost like identical to the one that we just did. So from here, we already know what our R is, which is 0.79. What we don't know is what our first term is. All right, so I'm going to put a 5 right here. I'm going to put 12,000 right here. Okay, so 12,000 is equal to x parenthesis 0.79 to the 5 minus 1 power. 12,000 equals x parenthesis I'm going to round this 0.39, and then I divide by 0.39, and when I do that, I get a car that is my first term x is equal to, and I'm going to round here, $30,769. All right, so that actually, I should have just probably carried that all the way down. So what is the original price of the car? $30,769. Now, was it geometric? It was geometric. I kind of ran out of room there. Now, because it's geometric, I have a rate, and that's going to be 0.79, because remember, it's always what I'm multiplying by. All right, now let's keep going. What is closed form formula? Remember, closed form is something, parentheses, something to the n minus 1 power. Well, I already know what my rate is 0.79. My first term was 30,769. So there it is. Let me rewrite it to where it's actually neat. All right. How many years will it take the car to be worth around $2,900? So this is another guess and check. Now, if you're having trouble with guess and check, please let me know, because I'll be happy to help you out, but you got to say something. And I'm just kind of skipping over this right now because of the fact that it takes a long time, depending on your skills of guess and check. All right, so John wants to buy something, so he has decided to start a new savings plan. He will start a known amount of money, and all right, so he'll make monthly deposits, okay, of $200. Now, deposits means you are adding, so automatically this is going to be arithmetic. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and write this off to the side. A of n something plus something to the n minus 1. All right, but let me keep collecting my information here. I'm adding $200, so that's what my common difference is. 200, and it says by the 5th month. That's another A5. There seems to be a lot of these on this quiz here. A of 5 equals 1300. Find the following. Well, remember, with my closed form formula, this is A1, this is my common difference D. I already know what my common difference is. It's 200. But what I don't know is what my first term is. So again, we're going to take A of 5, we're going to take 1300, we're going to put it there. We're going to put 5, we're going to put it there. So 1300 is equal to x plus 200 times 5 minus 1. All right. So 1300 is equal to x plus 800. Subtract 800, both sides. I can go ahead and just answer this question because I was right on it. How much money did John start off with? He started with $500. So Now, is this question because it's arithmetic has a common difference? All right, and it is $200 because he's adding $200 every single time. What is the closed form rule? Well, again, it is something plus something n minus 1. My first term ended up being 500. My common difference ended up being 200. Remember, you have to simplify this question. This is a simplifying question, so you have to simplify. Take 200. That ends up being, I'm going to write it down here, 500 plus 200 n minus 200. Remember, you're combining minus 200 and 500. You get 300 plus 200 n. How much money will John have after 15 months? This is not a guess and check. This is a take the information, plug it in for n. And so when you do that, you get $3,300. All right. John is saving for a car. The car is worth this. This is a guess and check situation. All right. So when you guess and check, it comes out to a clean 40. All right. Given the closed form formula, find the following. Now notice what I have. A1, I have my common difference, and I find my recursive. Now guys, I don't know why this is so difficult finding A1. This is not your first term, okay? This is not your first term. This is a simplified version of an arithmetic sequence, all right? If you're looking for your first term, take 1 and plug it in for n there. So it will be 250 minus 3 times 1, which gives you 247. Your common difference, notice what you're doing. You are subtracting 3. So that will be negative 3. Now, if you need to see the sequence off to the, up underneath, off to the side, whatever, you know this is A1, this is A2, this is A3. Your first term is 247. We just found it. Your second term, take 2 and plug it in there to see what your second term would be. You would get 244. And then the next one you get 241. You can clearly see you are subtracting 3. Some of you guys are writing a positive 3. You're not adding 3, you're subtracting 3. So your recursive, remember, is an minus 1 something. Well, that something is I am subtracting 3. Now here it says the following terms are arithmetic. My 33rd term and my 47th term. So first thing I need to do is find my common difference. Now if you remember, finding your common differences, this is your later term, this is your early term. Your later term, 561, minus my early term, 407. I'm going to get a number, and then I'm going to take that number. Notice this is, let's see, I'm having technical difficulties here. Hold on one second. All right. And then you're going to take your term, and if you notice that this is the 33rd term, this is the 47th term, that's a difference of 14. So when you do the math, you end up getting your common difference of 11. Now you're looking for A1. Bring out your arithmetic sequence formula, and that is A of n is equal to something plus something n minus 1. You already found your common difference. That was 11. But what you don't know is your first term. Well, let me clean this up a little bit. You have a choice. Do you want to use 407 or do you want to use 561? Well, I want to use 407. I'm going to put 407 right there. I'm going to put 33 right there. So 407 is equal to x plus 11 times 33 minus 1. So when I'm working out the algebra here, 407 is equal to x plus, let's see, 352. Now I'm subtracting 352, and my answer ends up being 55. Now my recursive, remember, is my previous term, and what am I doing to that previous term? Well, look at your common difference, 11. It's positive plus 11. There you go. John's dad bought or has a job for him to do. The way it's set up, John will get paid more to start the job the first hour and then get paid his normal hourly rate. After 10 hours of work, John is 55 bucks. So A of 10 is 155. After 18, A of 11 is 275. Okay? Now, we've got to answer the following. Now, you might be asking, well, is this arithmetic or geometric? We'll keep reading. You're looking for your common difference, so that automatically means you're dealing with arithmetic. So that means it's A of n is equal to something plus something n minus 1. Well, remember, to find your common difference, you take your late term, which is 275, subtract it from your earlier term, and then you're going to divide that by 8, because the difference between 10 and 18 is 8. So your answer ends up being 15. Alright, now what we're doing is we're looking for our first hour. So you're looking for your first term. You already know your common difference is 200 or 220. I'm sorry. I'm just going to take this information I got to choose, and I'm going to choose this. That'll be 10. So 155 is equal to x plus 20 times 10 minus 1. So when you do the math, 155 is equal to x plus 180. Okay, I don't know why I put 20 here, and you're probably yelling at the screen right now, so I apologize. So, sorry, I knew something looked a little off. Sorry, I went ahead and jumped the gun. So that should have been 15. So, I'm sorry, you're probably telling me in class right now I should have put 15. My fault. Alright, 15. So 15 times 9, that ends up being 135. So if you're following along, I apologize if you had to erase. You subtract 135 from both sides, subtract 135, subtract 135. My first term ends up being 20. Alright, now closed form formula, remember it is something plus something n minus 1. My first term ends up being 20. This is 15. Distribute 20 plus 15 n minus 15. 5 plus 15n. And you might be asking, where did I get 5? Well, 20 and negative 5. How many hours would John have to work to get 605? This is another guess and check. Your answer ends up being 40. Alright. Herb has been working for ABC Company Incorporated for years. Alright, when he's hired up, he'll be getting a 2% raise. That's geometric, so I'm just going to go ahead and write this off to the side. A of n is equal to something, parentheses, something to the n minus 1 power. Let's see, he was getting a 2% raise. That is an increase of 2%, which means I'm going to add 100 to 2%, which gives me 102, which means my R, I'll do this in blue here, R is 1.02. By the 14th year, A of 14 is equal to 1811. Answer the following. Well, my R, 1.02. Alright, that was easy. Alright, so how much was Herb making the first year? So we got to find our first term, 1.02. I'm going to put, let's see, the only thing we have is our 14th term, so that's going to be 18, 11, and n will be 4. Alright, so when I solve for this, it's going to be 1811 is equal to x parenthesis 1.02 to the 14 minus 1 power. So 1811 is equal to x times, let's see, that's 102, 1.02 raised to the power of 13. And I'm going to round this. I'm going to say this is going to be 1.3. So when I divide this by 1.3, x is equal to, let's see, how much was Herb making for the first hour? It is pretty close to, you can either write 13.93, or if you wanted to round, some of you guys got 14. I'm just going to say 14. But if I didn't mark you wrong, that means you got it right, depending on how you rounded. What is the closed form relation? Remember closed form, first term, r, n minus 1. My first term ended up being 14, and my r ended up being 1.02. Write a recurrence. Remember, what am I doing to the previous term? Well, every single hour I am multiplying by times 1.02. So I'm just going to put 1.02 right here. I don't have to put times because it's understood that I'm multiplying. If Herb works for the company for 30 years, this is not a guessing check. This is plug 30 into n right there. And when I do the math, I get, depending on how you rounded, $24.86. So $24.86. All right. Is this problem arithmetic or geometric? Well, I don't know. Well, let's see. 995 here, I'm subtracting 26. Here, I'm subtracting 26. Here, I'm subtracting 26. That's easy. It's going to be arithmetic because I'm subtracting by 26. My first term, guys, right there. 995. All right, so let's answer some questions. Since it's arithmetic, I know it has a common difference, and it is negative 26 because I'm subtracting, I'm decreasing. Closed form formula. All right, remember, something plus something n minus 1. Well, my first term was 995. I'm subtracting 26. I take that in there. That's 995 minus 26n plus 26. Combining like terms, and my answer ends up being 1021 minus 26n. Recursive formula, remember, what am I doing to the previous number to get to the next number? I'm subtracting 26. Now, what is AF 116? Meaning, what is the 116th term? I don't know. Let's just plug it in there and figure out. Negative 1995. All right, so there you have it. Hopefully you stayed with me throughout this entire video, and hopefully you know a little more about arithmetic and geometric, and hopefully if I give you another quiz, you'll get these questions right. Thank you for watching.